Welcome to PeopleTools Tech Tips. I'm Randy Gronke. Today we're going to talk about design time images. Let's divide images in PeopleTools into two basic groups: design time images and user uploaded images. Design time images are those images we use on the page, such as branding and icons. User uploaded images are data such as employee photos or asset images. We're going to create at least 3 different video series for images in PeopleTools. This one is going to deal with design time images, what they are, how to see them, and how to place them on the page. Later, we're going to talk about user uploaded images in a separate video, and at least a third video is going to talk about images and the fluid interface. If you like, you can skip ahead to specific sections. The timings are in the detail below. Would you like a copy of all the PeopleTools objects, PeopleCode, and PeopleTools projects we use in this demo? They're all available on PeopleToolsTechTips.com and our GitHub repository, PeopleTools Tech Tips. Design time images are PeopleTools objects just like any other PeopleTools object in the system. They're uploaded through the app designer, they're stored in the database, they're migratable to different environments through PeopleTools projects. Now, PeopleSoft has literally included thousands of design time images in their PUM and their demo environments for their pages that they're creating. All these images are available to you to use in your pages. It's just kind of hard to see them. We've created a quick, lightweight browser for you to go and see all the design time images in the system, including your images that you've uploaded into the system and available to use in your pages. Go to either PeopleToolsTechTips.com or our GitHub page at PeopleTools Tech Tips repository for our lightweight browser. One of our challenges with the PeopleTools architecture is, where do we place the images on the web server platform? Well, the answer is we don't pre-place the images on the web server platform. In the simple architecture, this actually might work, where we just place the images in a web server directory and we call all those images from that directory. However, in a more complex environment that is more common in the PeopleSoft customers, what we have is multiple web servers, multiple app servers, usually behind a load balancer. So what ends up happening is that if we were trying to pre-place an image behind a web server, we'd have to make sure that image was on every web server for the browsers to call. How PeopleSoft handles this is that it doesn't place the image out on the web server until the page is rendered in HTML for the web server by the app server. The user requests a page, the app server finds out there's images in this page, goes to the database, pulls out the images, and places them on the web server's cache. And then it hands the HTML with those URLs to those images to the web servers, which hands it to users. The user renders the page in their browser and they see the images because the browser found the images in the web server cache. So this is why we never really ever want to put images on the web server file servers. We want to let PeopleSoft architecture handle that so we don't create a maintenance issue going on in our system where we always have to remember to put our images on machines every time there's a new or upgraded machine put into service. Let's talk about image types. What's there and what you should be using. Now, since PeopleTools have been around for a long time, we have a lot of old image types in the system that are still available to you. Since it's your browser, not the PeopleSoft system that's rendering the page in the end, it's not the PeopleSoft systems that's dependent on the image, it's your browser that's dependent on the image. So what I found in my fresh PUM of 858 is at least 6 different types of images. Some of the old ones are BMPs, DIBs, and GIFs. Now, BMPs are those old Windows files, and the DIBs are like system independent bitmap files. None of the new images are in those formats. The 3 image types that we use most inside of PeopleSoft and also in the web are PNG, JPG, and SVG. Now, PNG is portable network graphics, and they're best for large, uniformly colored images, usually created by computer graphics. Now, these use a compression that is lossless, so they're really nice images, but they can get big. JPEGs use a lossy compression, and they are much better for photographs. That's the reason why all your cameras and phones always produce a JPEG image when you're taking pictures. Now, the last type is an SVG image file, and what that is scalable vector graphics. And bottom line, it's a fancy XML file describing how to build an image. It's best for computer-generated images. You'll need a higher end, a better graphics package to create these, or go out on the web and take a PNG and convert it to an SVG using a free conversion website.
Let's upload an image to PeopleSoft. New image. The File Explorer pops up to upload an image. Default type every time is JPG. You'll have to change it here to upload a PNG or SVG. Choose the image. In this case, it's Sparky. Our object appears in the App Designer with Sparky's picture now. Sometimes the image will not display on the App Designer image object. Don't worry, it's for the web browser. If the image is larger than 32K, you'll see a warning. Some databases may not support images larger than 32K. Let's save it. File, Save. Image properties pop up. Now use the Use tab for more detailed information about our image, type, and size. What the URL field allows us to do is put the image on a file server and use a URL that points to that image rather than use the image stored in the database tools tables. Click OK and we're done. Here we are going to add a static image to our page. Add a static image object. Not an image, but a static image. Images are for user-uploaded images. Double-click on the object for its properties. On the Label tab, we define the image in the Field ID field. Choose a Spark image we just uploaded. We get the basic information here about that image. In the Alt Tag section, we can define the hover text. Save and let's take a look. There's our image, Sparky. Inspect the page. We see our image 200 by 200 pixels. Let's change the size of that image. Double-click on the image object. Size defaults to normal. Scale, 50% and 50%. Save and let's take a look. Sparky's much smaller now. Now let's put the image on the page using an HTML area. We're going to put the image in this upper right block. On our page, add an HTML object. Double-click to open the object properties. Change the value to use the constant option. Then we write our HTML for the box using the %image meta tag, which lets tools handle all the HTML work for the image. The %image meta tag's only parameter is the image object name. Save and let's see the results. Here's our image, and it's huge, but it's pure HTML, so we can deal with that using either CSS or inline styling. We'll use the inline styling today for expediency. Width equals 75 pixels and height equals 75 pixels. Save and let's take a look at the results. Now our image is a much more reasonable size. Now we're going to add an HTML area, but assign its contents using people code. This image will be dynamic. We'll set it at page build and we can change it at any time. Add the HTML area object to the page. Open the properties. This time we're going to define the values as a record field. This is a derived work record we are using on our page, which is going to put the image HTML into that field as code. But we haven't done that yet. Let's take a look at it right now when nothing is assigned. Nothing. Let's put some HTML into that object using page activate people code. Our code comments are already there. Let's get our work record from the page. It's a level 0 in the component. Set the record field value equal to our HTML string. It's the same string we did before with the static value. Use the %image meta tag to tell PeopleTools to handle the image. Save, and let's check out the results. Again, it's huge. Let's go back and fix that. Add our width and height inline styles, 50 pixels each. And see our results. It rendered much more manageable this time. Let's add a push button with an image on our page. Add a push button object to the page. Open the object properties. Assign a record and field to tie our button to a PeopleCode event. Type as push button. Change to the label tab. Make sure it says image. In the label image box, select the image for the button. I'm using the PT3 badge icon. So let's see just how much that worked. We see our image is that button, but again, huge. Go back to the app designer and edit the button properties. In the label size box, choose large image, small image, or custom. This really doesn't have any effect for the Classic Plus rendering. The page will render the button with the image at its native size. For general reference, the small button is supposed to be a 16 by 16 pixel image, and the large button is supposed to be a 32 by 32 pixel image. Everything else is custom. Choosing the custom size and then the scale allows us to make the image a different size than native. Let's make it a nice 50 by 50 button. The alt tag for the image controls the hover text for the button. Let's look at the results of our changes. The image is 50 by 50 pixels and we have our hover text. Sparky! Change the size to 50/50 and it renders to the native image size again. Change back to scale and 50/50. Our button is back to its reasonable size, but it doesn't do anything yet. Do you remember that we said our one HTML image was dynamic? Let's control that with our button. Let's find our component record field change people code for that button. We're going to toggle that dynamic image back and forth between two images every time the button is clicked. The component Boolean variable will track where we are in the toggle. Now let's grab a record with our field that is linked to that dynamic HTML image. Now we're going to test a Boolean to see if it's on or off. If not true, switch the image to our Sparky and 50 by 50 pixels. Then change the Boolean to true. Else, set the image to the badge, same size. Then change the Boolean to false. End if. And let's see if it works. Click on our button, and it's Sparky. Click again, it's PT3.
Both the Tile Wizard and the Content Riff pages use SVG images for the tiles. They have a prompt view that limits only image type SVG for the tile images. Now, SVGs are just complex XML files that describe how an image is created. It's uploaded into PeopleTools image object just the same as any other image, such as a PNG or a JPG. If you don't have the tools such as Adobe Illustrator to create your own SVG, you can create a PNG and convert it to an SVG using some third-party web tools shown here. Design time images. We upload them into the app designer and we handle them as PeopleTools objects. We put them on our pages and we give them to the users. Stay tuned for additional videos on user-provided images and using images in Fluid Pages. Thanks for watching. Please consider subscribing, and we'll see you next time here on PeopleTools Tech Tips.